Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let's see, am I hooked up properly? I think so. Give me a hello in the chat. If you're here with me, you can put hashtag live. And if you're here with me on replay, you can put hashtag replay. And yeah, just give me a shout out in the comments below. Feel free to ask questions in the comments and we can get them answered on here if you'd like. Let's see what else. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe and like so you get these. I'm doing these once a week on Thursdays at 3 p.m. in my Facebook group called the Business Growth Blueprint in Facebook. If you want to join us in there, you can come and join and you'll get notifications for each week. But today I'm excited. We are going to be talking about the 3 top terribly expensive habits that are costing you money in your business. Okay, the 3 terribly expensive habits that are costing you in your business. And you have to excuse me a little bit. I'm a little bit tired today. I stayed up late. I don't know, for no particular reason. I stayed up late last night and I was up early. So just didn't get enough sleep last night. So bear with me today. Okay. But if you don't know who I am Heather Blaze, and I have been helping business owners since 1996 with their businesses, help succeed in their business. So I've kind of seen it all. And I've been helping business owners to success ever since, how to set up those systems and the marketing and business systems so that they can have time and money freedom to ultimately do what they love to do, because that's pretty much the reason why a lot of people get into business, is because they want that freedom, that flexibility. They want to leave their 9 to 5. They aren't happy in that grind. And they also want that control, I guess, maybe they've been laid off too many times. I don't know, whatever reason they get into business for. Usually what I hear is because they want that freedom and flexibility. And then getting into service-based business is because people typically want to make that impact. So in order to make that impact with people and go deep with people so that they can get amazing results for their clients, they do need the systems and strategies to be set up properly so that they don't get burned out. Because what happens in our society is we're taught how to be workers, right? Work, do, go to school, get good grades, get a good job. And what tends to happen then is, because we've been taught this our whole lives, people go and create jobs for themselves. So then they not only have to deliver and execute what they're out there trying to impact people with, but then all the other aspects of business. And since most people haven't been taught that, this is why I do what I do. I've been doing it a long time. I've seen it all. And that's what I help people do. So with that being said, let's dive in. Today I'm going to be pulling back the curtains to show you the 3 very expensive habits that are killing your online business. And this is tricky because most aren't even aware that these are habits that exist. Okay, these habits are commonly just automatic. They're programmed. They're just doing it. They don't even know. They're in the subconscious. And then they have a way of popping up over and over again. And I've seen these with service-based entrepreneurs I talk to, and it's sad because the income and the impact that they're currently making is so far from what's possible. Okay. So for those of you who are just starting out, or even if you've been in business for a while, check to see that you don't fall prey to these habits that I'm going to be talking about today. Okay, so let's just dive right in. So the first expensive habit is called the shiny object syndrome. So maybe put in the comments here, who's fallen prey to that? Even I've been fallen prey to this one, okay? For me, this is a hard one. I need to also check in, make sure that I stay focused. When I first started out in business, I started 2 at the same time because I had this great idea, and a lot of entrepreneurs, they're idea people, right? So that was me too. I started with this, and I started with another thing that I thought was going to be great, and it was going to be great, but I needed to choose one. I needed to execute one, okay? So this shiny object syndrome, let's see if this sounds like you. You keep getting distracted from one approach to another, and it takes you a completely different route, a completely different road. Okay, you jump from one idea to the next, and then you never actually execute a single game plan. And in my case, the way I've built my business is by keeping it as simple as possible. So don't jump at the next method or system or get introduced to something else without diving deep into what you are currently following, just because you're getting bored of something. Okay, maybe it's boredom, maybe it's something else. But let me give you an example. So guy I've seen on ESPN who is into fitness. He kept bouncing around from one new supplement to another wonder drug every 2 to 3 weeks. And he's been in over 100 magazine covers because he's a known expert in his niche, but he's never found success. And I understand that as business people, we are really big on ideas and we often get excited when we encounter something novel. But the problem is that you can't get overly enthusiastic, so enthusiastic that you don't stop to execute a good plan. Okay. So I was talking to somebody last week who she was in the middle of a program. She hadn't finished her program. She was jumping from one piece to another section to another section, and she wasn't executing. I don't know what the other program was or how it was laid out, but with any business, especially if you want time and money freedom, it's kind of like building a house, right? You have the structure of the house, you have the framework of the house, but every house is a little bit different and unique, right? And same with business. You have to follow the formula. You have to follow the right order. If something's been done out of order or you skip a step, it's not going to turn out. And this is the same. This is the same with a house, right? If you don't follow that blueprint, that formula to build the house, and something's done out of order, you miss a step, it's not going to work. And it's the same with the business. There's so many moving parts. There's so many different pieces. You've got the offer piece. You've got the messaging piece. You've got the niche piece. You've got the automation piece, the marketing piece, the sales piece. There's all these different pieces. And if they don't go hand in hand, it's not going to work. And so anyway, I talked to somebody last week and she hadn't even finished the program that she was in. And I said, well, what are you doing here with me? What do you want from me? When you haven't even finished that, you might have all the answers in there. So I sent her away. I said, go finish what you started. I'm not going to feel good about having you invest or spend more money on something that you haven't even finished. Go finish that first, see if it's got what you need. If it's not working or something, then come back, give me a call back and we can talk about what's not working at that point or see what you need at that point that other program doesn't have or that other offer doesn't have. I'm like, I hope they have everything and then you don't have to invest anything else. But obviously something was missing, or maybe not, because she hadn't finished it, right? We just don't know. So I sent her away. And then another good example of another two business owners I spoke with a couple of weeks ago is these spa owners. So these spa owners they built the spa was beautiful. They were getting some business, but it was just inconsistent and they don't have the right system set up. So they were getting burnt out and they weren't hitting their income goals. They've just been basically breaking even for a couple of years. And so they thought, oh, well, to make more money, we'll create more products. We'll create these products and then we'll create a whole e-commerce thing or whatever, right? And that will bring in more money. And then that wasn't working. So then they tried to create they're going to rent out the thing. So that's a whole nother business. And then so they had all these different businesses, or they kept creating new things because the one thing wasn't working. But the key is to, just hone in, stay focused, get the systems in place for the one thing. And then you can, once that's working well, you can use those same systems to build out the next one, because it's always the same framework. Okay. Even though each business is a little bit different, they all have the same framework in order for them to actually work. Right. Because just taking one good idea and then carrying it to fruition, it might take years, especially if you've never done it before and you don't hire someone who has done it before so they can show you how, right? That can save off a lot of time. But how would you know if you've been brought up in our society that teaches you how to be a worker, work, do, go get a job, and now you want to have a business, how would you even know? It's not your fault. It's just you've never been shown. So if you don't hire someone that's actually done it, that can show you to save off that time, statistics show 50% of business owners succeed. They figure it out in about 3 to 5 years. And the other 50% never figure out how to put all those pieces together, and they get overwhelmed and confused and burned out and usually quit. Okay, I've seen this happen over and over again. So anyway, ideas are practically useless. If you don't put it in, if you don't build it out, right? If you don't follow it through, if you don't see it through to the end, what really counts is the ability to focus and execute a proven system, execute a proven plan so that it starts working. You get the results that you set out to get. And then once you've gotten those results, then create and focus on another thing. Like if you take two business owners, for example, right? One is super creative and has tons of wonderful ideas, and the other one isn't as creative, just has one idea, but is really great on follow through and really perseveres. The second guy is definitely going to have massive success compared to the first one. Okay, it's like driving to a destination for 2 hours at a time versus driving to a destination for 8 hours at a time. Does that make sense? How much longer is it going to take you to get to that destination if you're only focused on it for 2 hours versus focused on it for 8 hours? So hopefully that makes sense. And if you can type in the chat that makes sense and you're following me, that would be awesome. Just let me check something here because I'm hearing a lot of people popping in here, but I'd love it if you just watch it live on Facebook and comment on Facebook instead of coming into the Zoom. So yeah, so come on, and if you've got any questions or if you're with me, if you can hear me, then let me know and write in the comments below there. So anyways, hopefully that makes sense. And I'm not saying like having a lot of ideas is a bad thing. What I want you to understand is that you need to follow through on one great idea and resolve to not get pulled off your path. Okay, so what type of system or business model should you be looking for? Okay, this is a good thing to ask yourself. So you want to look for the person who created it should be using the same system. Okay, if you're looking for somebody to show you how to succeed and have the right path around what you're trying to build, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same business, but the person that you hire to help you or show you what you need to set up that business properly and set up those systems properly, the person that what you want to look for is that they're actually using that same system in their business. Okay, so then you can model it and you can see that it's successful. Number two is she should also be getting incredible results following that system. Okay, if she's not getting results, how's she going to get you results? The third thing is she is able to create the same results for her clients. Okay, some people can get results for themselves, but they don't know how to teach it to others so that they can get the results for themselves. So that's a key thing too. I get a lot of calls from people that say they hired somebody that was doing great, but they were so disorganized and they couldn't, and they just didn't respond, or they felt like they were chasing them or whatever. They didn't have the system in place to be able to teach others to get the great results. Make sense? And then number four, she has to be doing it consistently for a long time, right? I've been doing this since 1996. I've been helping business owners, where a lot of coaches out there have only been doing it for a couple of years. Again, another thing I get calls from is they had just launched and I was beta testing and I got it for really cheap because I was their beta test. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you get someone that's been doing it for a long time, they tend to know what they've been doing. They've seen a lot of different scenarios. They know how to handle a lot of situations, right? So just look for somebody that's been doing it consistently for a long time. They're not reinventing the wheel all the time, stuff like that, right? And then number five, look for a proven system that works across a wide variety of niches. So it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to, if you're a hairstylist, it doesn't have to be, a coach doesn't have to be in the hairstyling thing, because it's about the business systems. It's about getting that formula, getting that framework, that structure, that roadmap, right? It's all the same business to business to business. If you need clients, if you need marketing systems, if you need systems for time and money freedom, there's a framework. And then because you're you, your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise, who you are is different, and who you want to attract, right? Who you want to ideally work with is different than anybody else, probably, right? And then what you ultimately want to create for yourself in your life is going to be different. So those are the key things that you also, maybe that's a sixth thing, is looking for someone that customizes, or that's able to customize it and make it specific to who you are, what you're doing, who you want to attract. Because if not, if you're just thrown into a general one size fits all type of program, or get a coach that is just like, yeah, just follow these things, then you're left to your own devices to try and figure out, that piece again. How does this pertain to me? And if it's a whole bunch of pieces, you're stuck trying to fit them all together, and they all have to go together. Does that make sense? So go ahead and find a proven system that works with all those points, and then stick to it, execute it to the end, to make sure that it actually starts working. Once it starts working, then you're good. So number 2 out of the 3 things that we're going over today. Okay. Let me know if you've got any questions about that. So number 2, the second expensive habit is trying to build businesses from different sources. Okay. So I've kind of touched on this a little bit, but there's so many out there that are trying to teach you only 1 or maybe 2 or maybe 3 pieces of the puzzle. They're not giving you the whole thing. It's very rare to find a coach or a mentor that will take you from how to start, right? How to start, or how to take what you're doing from the beginning, or wherever you're at, how to take you from where you are to where you want to go, right? So for example, how to start and then how to consistently make $100,000 a month or whatever, right? So going from start to that point. And everything in between. It's very rare to find a coach that can teach you all those things. And one that provides you with every step that takes you from point A to point B, from start to 100K months, A being start, B being 100K months, right? So what happens is that you're left trying to put it all together yourself, and just mimicking a business model that you think could work. Taking all those pieces from different sources doesn't work. Again, they all have to go together. So you might find a guy who specializes in Facebook ads, then another one who teaches you how to put together a webinar, then another different one who knows how to put your offer together, then another one that knows how to hone in on your niche, and then another one who can maybe teach you how to close potential clients on the phone. These are all different places, different pieces that you need. And if you get them from all different places, they're not going to go together. So it won't work, because each and every part of your business has to reinforce the other. Again, there's a certain way to build it out, just like building a house. You can't start with the roof and then put the frame and then put the foundation, right? It has to be the foundation first, then the framework, then this, then that, then the roof goes last, then the top, right? There's a certain order to it. And it's the same thing with any business. There's so many pieces to it. You have to follow a blueprint. You have to follow something that has all those pieces that go together and reinforce each other. So if you try and learn how to run ads on Facebook, the way you would do it to sell an ebook is far, far different from how it should be done when you're trying to sell a high ticket coaching program. Okay. But if you're not aware of the difference, then you might just go ahead and buy into the system of the Facebook expert who understands how to put together ads for ebooks, but not for high ticket service programs. Make sense? Like, imagine the waste of time and money there. If you're doing that, if you've got this guy doing that and this guy doing that, right? It's just not going to work. Those aren't the same type of ads. It's not the same type of positioning. It's not the same type of copy. It's not the same type of, I'm blanking. See, I told you I was going to try. Now I'm figuring, where I can't even think right now. So all of that is different, right? When you're doing Facebook ads, I'm just taking Facebook ads for example, right? There's so many different components to it as well, that if you just even follow the free Facebook training in Facebook. It's not going to work because they're training you how to get cheap clicks when what you really want is good quality leads finding you, calling you, and paying you. You don't care about clicks. I mean, clicks are clicks. What do clicks do? You care about clicks for a certain thing, but you don't really, if you're making $3,000 to $10,000 per client, you don't want cheap clicks. You want to book phone calls. You want leads at a certain quality at a certain price. And there's standards for those things, right? Anyway, like this kind of approach of just piecing it together will only slow you down and erode your confidence, because no matter how you try to put those pieces together, it just won't work. And then what happens is they start eating away at your confidence, even though it's not you. It's not you at all, right? People start thinking that. They start thinking, what's wrong with me? What doesn't anybody respond? Why doesn't anybody want to work with me? Maybe what I'm doing isn't important. Maybe I'm just not good enough, right? And it's just this whole downward spiral when it's not you, it's the model, or it's the things just aren't going together. Does that make sense? Something's missing, or something hasn't been put together properly. And then it might be up here in your blind spot and you can't see it. So anyway, can go on and on about it. But imagine trying to build a car, and your carburetor is for a Ford, and the air filters for a Ferrari, and the tires were designed for a 4-wheel drive, right? It might look nice with all these beautiful pieces, and it's kind of an idea of putting a car together. You've got kind of an idea, but is everything going to work properly? Probably not. So again, if you're pulling all these pieces from 20 different sources, you just might end up with a big mess, and then nothing works. So just make sure whatever model you follow, that it is a start to finish solution for what you're trying to build. Okay. One that shows each piece that you need and allows it to all integrate, and that you'll get the help you need and the support you need to execute each step along the way. So does that all make sense? Now let's talk about the third terrible habit that's really costing you money. Okay. Too much focus on yourself. This is a big one. So I know we all get into business because we have goals. We've got income goals, we've got freedom, we've got fulfillment, we've got these expertise, we've got these gifts, we've got all this knowledge, all this wisdom that we want to share and help people with, right? But one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about me at all. I rarely ever talk about me. Every once in a while, I might slip in a little thing, why should you listen to me? But I rarely talk about myself or my expertise or how long I've been doing stuff or how many degrees I have or anything like that. None of it matters. Nobody cares, because the ultimate purpose of any business, especially service-based, right, is to provide service for others. And that is what you should be focusing on. To what results do you get for others? So many business owners are too focused on maybe ego. It might be an ego thing, maybe not. Maybe they just think like, oh, well, if I share how great I am, then people are going to want to work with me. People are going to want to go with me versus the other person. People know how many degrees I have and how long I've been doing this and all this stuff and how many people I've helped and all the stuff I can do. It makes sense that it's kind of makes sense that would work, but it doesn't work. So many business owners are too focused on that, their branding or being well regarded in the community or having lots of followers and lots of likes, and none of that matters. The focus needs to be instead on how it can be the best at what I do so that I can give the best possible service to people. How can I speak directly to their wants and needs, to the results that they want, right? This is what clients really care about. Okay, what can you do for them? What's in it for me, right? So really, the best thing that you can do for your business is to focus on them. Okay, everything in your business should be oriented around getting great results for your clients, your posts or your ads, the price, right? You're charging, who you'll work, and that doesn't mean a cheap price either. Okay, cheap price is not the best price. okay, for people. A lot of people think that too, but that's not true. Who you'll work with, who you won't work with, and everything else in between, okay? Some entrepreneurs find talking about themselves their comfort zone. That's their comfort zone because they know what they're talking about, right? They're experts in it. So they'll talk about all of that. They'll talk about their degrees, their certifications, how long they've been in business, how great they are, and all that other stuff. But what the client is really looking for is someone who understands their problem, understands what they need, and that they can be the solution that they need. Okay, this is so important because branding has been, the name of the game for a while. And honestly, it's not really necessary to have your branding all perfect and looking great to make money. You don't even need a website to make money. I can tell you, my friend, see, told you I'm tired. My client, Mary Rose, for example, okay, she didn't have her she was 7 weeks into the program, and she posted in the group, I've got 6 people that have given me deposits between $550 and $1,100 in week 7 of the program because her messaging got so clear. She said, I don't have a website. I don't have her program or what her offer, what she was going to be offering and taking people through wasn't even ready. She just had an outline, but she had collected deposits. She had the ability to communicate the value so effectively to enroll 6 people between $550 and $1,100 in 7 weeks before she even had her offer ready. And her plan was to just walk them through the process and record it all so that it was done with those people. Make sense? So she had such clarity, and that's what we worked on. I gave her so much clarity on how to communicate the value around what she was offering. And she knew her stuff. She was an expert. So that was fine, right? But she didn't tell people about what an expert she is. She told people about how she was going to get the results for them. Make sense? So this is so important. So important. You don't need the branding. You don't need a website. You don't need even an offer. You just need to be clear on what it is and how to communicate the value around it. Make sense? They don't need an LLC, really. I mean, what do you need an LLC for? And I mean, unless it's like a protection thing, and check with your lawyers about it, because I'm not a lawyer. But to make money, you don't need an LLC. You might need it for protection depending on what your business is. But a lot of people think, oh, I got to get my LLC first. I got to register the company, or maybe not even an LLC. I got to register my business. I got to get my website, get all this stuff dialed in before they can start making money. But that's not true. Okay. And if you're clear on how to do it, you don't need all that stuff. That stuff is just extra bonus stuff. Okay. That's the last thing we work on. So in most businesses anyway, that's what people think they need to get set up, and it's just delaying things. It's busy work. Okay. It's not that important. So people want to be so impressive so that clients will flock to their door, but it just doesn't work like that anymore. Okay. You don't have to learn to apply this principle into everything that you do in your business, right? If you're not sure how to do these things, that's what I can help you do. Okay. Because just doing that, just talking about your clients and being clear on how to communicate the value around what you're offering is enough to make you stand out no matter how crowded your marketplace is. Okay. It helps position you as the go-to, and it just resonates when your messaging resonates, when your prospects feel understood and heard. That's what's going to get them to reach out to you. Okay. So let's recap this really quick. The expensive habits that you need to get rid of are 1, shiny object syndrome, 2, building a business by pulling from different sources, okay, not making sure that they're all A to B cohesive, and 3, focusing too much on yourself instead of your clients, okay? Those are the 3 most expensive things. And I even put a 4th one in, is not knowing how to set up your systems to get the right people finding you, calling you, and paying you. Because if you're not set up properly for the right people to find you, call you, and pay you, the longer that goes on, each month that goes by is money you're not making. So if you are planning on making, let's say, $10,000 a month, the longer it takes you to set your systems up to get those right people finding, calling you, and paying you 10,000 a month, that's 10,000 a month you're losing, right? So that's a huge costly one too. Anyway, that was the fourth bonus one. So I hope this has been super helpful for you. Feel free to reach out to us if you want more clarity over these terrible habits and how you can break free from completely getting rid of those, okay? And just type in the word expensive in the comments, and I or someone from my team will get back to you soon. All right, so again, I'm here every Thursday at 3. Any comments you want to put in the comment section, I will be happy to answer. And I think that's it for today. So I will see you next Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific time in the Business Growth Blueprint group on Facebook. Have a great week, guys.